boo, but you do you. You do you. On your right-hand side, guys, these white trailers here, these are what we call star wagons. And this is where we get our actors into hair and makeup. It's where they get their wardrobe, and it's also where they just hang out during the day. Now, back in the early days of filmmaking, we keep them on your left-hand side. These are what we call our bungalows, and these used to be dressing rooms for famous stars like Doris Day, Rock Hudson, Tony Curtis, Jimmy Stewart, but nowadays they are offices for some of the top writers and directors in town. In fact, Illumination Entertainment, that brought you Pop, The Lorax, Despicable Me, and most recently Minions, they have offices in there, as well as Elizabeth Banks from Pitch Perfect. Now on your right-hand side, this very large building here, this is what we call Bud Westmore. And here at Universal Studios, we're like a mini city. We have our own fire department, and on the top floor of Bud Westmore, we have our own hospital. On your left-hand side, Bungalow 5195, you'll see it underneath the Hannibal Manor. That is home to De Laurentiis Company. Now, the De Laurentiis Company brought you The Legend of Hannibal for the small and the big screen, but you might have noticed next to the 5195, a very familiar silhouette. That is the incomparable Alfred Hitchcock, the master of chills and thrills. And the reason he's on that building, that used to be his old office. And guys, I've been in there. There is a red carpet on the floor. That man, you have to visit. Now we are leaving our front lot behind and taking you into our back lot. This is where we shoot the big stuff. And you'll notice on your right-hand side, this very large picture here, this is what we call a cyclorama. So what directors will do is they'll hang it inside of a soundstage, and then they'll put a light behind it that makes all those little windows look like they're lit up. Now this could represent Chicago or New York or really any big city, and that's what we do out here. These are our metropolitan sets, and these buildings here, they might look big and strong and like they've got a lot going on inside, but there's nothing going on inside because these buildings are fake. These are what we call facades. They're just the fronts and the sides of buildings. There's nothing inside. Now as we round the corner, this is what we call our Brownstone Street. Now, many characters have lived here on Brownstone Street, including Bruce Almighty.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Well, you're done now. Beautiful.
Now, as we leave Brownstone Street, we're entering another quiet town. For my Back to the Future fans, we're heading into Hill Valley, otherwise known as Courthouse Square. And as we round the corner, guys, you'll notice on your left-hand side is the famous clock tower that Doc Brown hung from in the first movie. But you might also notice that that clock tower looks a little bit different than how it did in the movie. In the movie, it had big pillars right in front. Now it's a brick wall, and the reason for that is because when they filmed Back to the Future here, the set became so recognizable that directors that shot here after Back to the Future had to change the front of the building. Otherwise, people would just think Back to the Future. So that is another example of a facade. It's just the fronts and the sides, and there's nothing actually inside there. Now, if you guys look at the sidewalks, you'll notice that there are little squares in the sidewalk that have little holes in them. These allow directors to plug in their own street lamps, their own trees, their own patches of grass, really anything they want to do to transform this area to anything other than Hill Valley.